Today's topic, climate and environmental policy in Japan and the United States, can't be more relevant or crucial.
It's UN General Assembly Week in New York. President Biden spoke, as you mentioned, on Tuesday, and he spoke about how the climate crisis is a code red for humanity. First is always get our house back in order. The U.S. has humbly come back to the global stage on climate action by rejoining the Paris Agreement on day one. Within the first 100 days, President Biden hosted a leader summit on climate. We announced a 50 to 52% reduction in our emissions by 2030. It's about showcasing and exercising our global leadership. What that means is in pretty much almost every one of President Biden's meetings with other foreign leaders, he's raising climate change issues with his counterpart. We started off pretty quick. He had the World Leaders Summit, and then he had the G7 meeting where climate was a key deliverable. And then his early bilateral engagements, which included Prime Minister Suga, included Korea, Mexico, Canada. So in each of those meetings of world leaders, climate was one of the top three deliverables in all of those discussions. This year in particular, and last year, extreme weather events. I mean, it's really hard. Unfortunately, you're hard pressed to find any place on the planet not experiencing record-breaking extremes. And that just means the urgency of the crisis is so much more tangible. No one's left untouched. And so it has a real sort of tangible national security in its purest definition. Our own national security feels impacted by the climate extremes that are happening.
As you know, Prime Minister Suga announced carbon neutrality goal back in October as part of the Climate Leaders Summit in the US hosted by President Biden. Japan revised the 2030 emission reduction goal, which is now 46% compared to 2013 level. As part of the climate change experts panel, we have seen how Prime Minister Suga has been committed to climate change, and he's the one pledged carbon neutrality goal. He's the one made the change in the 2030 emission reduction goal. And now he's sort of supporting carbon pricing. I really hope, the new prime minister will succeed this sort of, this momentum and keep, this climate change goal moving forward.
What we have seen over the last decade has been a fundamental, complete sea change in how investors and corporate leaders are regarding climate change. Suddenly, everyone has realized that climate change is fundamental to business continuity, to returns, to risk management.
There are already 214 Japanese companies have pledged net zero, which is fascinating.
Japanese and the community really didn't have much time to come up with a detailed plan that how to get their detailed pathway to how to achieve either 2030 or 2050, the credible pathway to achieve 2030 or 2050. I have to say it really has to be worked out.
We're in a moment now where there has really been this sort of full stakeholder mobilization, right? Whether it's individuals and clients or the next gen of talent or regulators or corporate leaders, that finally everyone has realized this incredible imperative towards action now. And I think what has especially helped on the investor side is that people have also increasingly seen the alignment of what is necessary, what is right, but also what is profitable, either because it is good risk management or because it is a good opportunity. And that has been, I think, part of why you now see this $30 trillion worth of investing flooding towards sustainable solutions.
It's not the environmental policy, it's an international competitiveness strategy. And that's why I think that the Japanese business people are getting it. However, in order for them to really materialize what they are promising or committing, I actually think that the role of the government is very, very important.
Technology part, probably CCS, CCUS, these sort of really difficult decarbonization technology areas, probably the R&D area that, Japan and US can collaborate with. The second part is, I think subnationals and local governments and really citizens really play a really big role in mitigating climate change, working with Asian nations together between US and Japan. As you know, other Asian nations and have a really growing economy, and also emission is rising.
Look, we'll have some missteps along the way. We will have some places where declarations may outstrip ambition and ambition will outstrip action. But at least we're moving in the right direction, I believe, I hope.
We are approaching what we continue to call the decisive decade, 2021, the 2020s. And we're kind of coming into 2021 with what I hope is a lot of optimism that we have a 9-year sprint that is doable, that we can get it done, and that all the world's leaders, whether it's in private sector, academia, or in the public sector, we all recognize that it's now or never, that we really must act. We can't wait any longer. We can't wait for things to be, sort of the perfect is the enemy of the good.